everybody. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to be there this weekend, but I appreciate everyone who was able to make the recordings. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So let me start with the little 10 minutes of a segment of my class. So I don't want to appear condescending, but I am going to speak as if I'm speaking with children, because one of the things that really drew me to the yoga, this yoga teacher training, was I think it would be a great way for me to work with kids if I'm not, professionally working with kids as a nurse in some capacity. I think this would be a great way to promote health and healing, to teach yoga to younger kids. So some of this might be geared that way and seem a little bit silly, but that's kind of how I want to practice, I guess. Also, please excuse all the mess, I guess. I found that I don't really have any empty areas in my house to do this, so this was like, there's a little bit of a wall here, so hopefully you guys will be able to see me okay. All right, so I am gonna get started. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for being here. Let's all take a minute and get in our mats, okay? And the first thing we're gonna do is take 3 deep breaths, okay? And let's put our hands on our bellies right here. And we wanna put our thumb so that's a little bit on our ribs so that we can feel our ribs and our bellies moving when we take big, deep breaths. So when you take a big, deep breath in, we wanna be pushing out those bellies. And then when we exhale, we want to feel our bellies and our ribs kind of going back to a relaxed position. So let's do that again. Okay, and let it out. Good job. I know we want to move our shoulders and all of that, but we really want to try to keep our shoulders still and just think about our bellies and our ribs. So let's do one more, okay? And out. Okay, so now our bellies are good and relaxed, and we're coming here to this moment, and a lot of times we have a lot of things happen during the day, and so what we want to do is we want to try to shake all those things that maybe were bothering us, or that were exciting us, or that are making us sad or mad or excited, all of those feelings. We want to try to take those feelings and just put them aside for right now. So we're gonna start at the bottom of our bodies, right? So we're gonna take our ankle, we're gonna take our foot, and we're gonna go circle it around in big circles, right? Keeping our legs straight, but we're keeping our ankle, and we're just shaking it around, shaking out anything that's coming down there, right? And we're gonna do our other leg, and we're gonna shake it around, and we're trying to stay nice and strong in our right leg while we're doing this. Right? Okay. Now what we want to do is we're going to lift up our leg, and we're going to go out, in, and out, in, and just letting that energy out. Right? We're going to do it with the other leg. Ready? Out, in, and out, in, and out, in, and down. And if we need to, we can put our arms out, because sometimes we're wobbly. I know a lot of times I'm really wobbly. So now we're going to spread our legs out a little bit further. So we're making a little bit of a triangle here between our legs. They're out a little bit further than our hips. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our arms out, okay? And we're just gonna twist. We're keeping our hips facing forward. I wanna keep your hips facing me just like how I have my hips facing you, right? And we're just gonna go over and 2 and over and over and over and over. Good job. Okay, now we're gonna go to the sides. We're gonna go over and over and over and over and over, and one more. Okay, good job. All right, now we're gonna shake these arms out. Ready? We're gonna go backwards in real big circles. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job. And now we're gonna go forwards in big circles. 1, 2, 3. Good job, guys. Okay, now we don't want to shake our heads because shaking our heads will make us get all confused and we won't know where our bodies are. So we're just going to be really gentle with our heads, right? Because our heads, they control all the parts of our body, right? So we want to try to be as careful as we can and just really be gentle with our heads. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go put our ear to our shoulder. And again, I know we want to lift our shoulders up. We're just going to keep them down. So we're going to go over and over and over and over and over. And then come back to the middle. Good job. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look over our shoulders just like that. Okay? So we're going to go over and over and over and over and over and over. And sometimes what we might want to do is we want to pick spots on the walls and look at those, because sometimes even though we're going slow, we're just going back and forth, it can make us dizzy. So next time we're going to make sure we pick spots on the walls. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our heads down and up, and we're going to remember to pick spots this time. Okay, so we're going to first, before we move our heads, let's find what's our spots going to be. So I'm going to look at that little spot on the ceiling, and I'm going to look at your mat right there in front of me. And so when I look down, I'm going to do there. And then when I move my head up, I'm not going to watch the wall all the way up to the ceiling. Nope. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look down at that spot on your mat, and then I'm going to look straight up to that spot on the ceiling. Because again, we want to be gentle with our heads because it controls all the parts of our body. Okay, so everybody have their spot? All right, good. So we're going to look down, and then we're going to go up. Right? And then down, and then that spot up, and then down spot, and then up spot, and then one more, down spot, and then up spot. Very good. Good job, guys. Okay, so we're going to take 3 more deep breaths, and then we're going to get started with our practice, okay? So hands on bellies and ribs. And remember, we're trying to keep our shoulders straight. So deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Feel our bodies. Yep, feel our bodies move with our breath. Okay, one more. Deep breath in and out. Okay, all right. Great, everybody, friends, hands together, feet together. Welcome to our practice today. Namaste. Very good. So our first pose today is going to be mountain pose. So it's important to start with mountain pose because mountain pose helps us become even more present in our practice and feel what's going on in our bodies in a very simple way. So we want to have our feet together, okay? We want to make sure our toes are lined up. We want to make sure our heels are lined up. And then, ready? We're going to stand up straight. But as we're standing up straight, we want to make sure that we are lifting our shoulders up to the sky, right? We don't want to be pushing our shoulders back. We don't want to be hunching our shoulders forward. Sometimes we might want to go to the sides. We want to try to do our best to keep our shoulders up and our hips and our bums too. Sometimes when we stand straight, we want to push our hips out, or sometimes we want to push our bums out. So we want to try to push our bums over. Ready? Actually, let's start at the beginning. So we want our ankles is where we're starting. We're thinking about our ankles, right? And we're thinking about our toes, right where our toes meet our feet, right? Right here, okay? So we're thinking about that spot, and then we're thinking about our ankles. And then we're thinking our knees are over our ankles. We don't want our knees locked out. We don't want our knees bent over our toes. We want our knees to just be relaxed over our ankles. And then we want to move up to our hips, and we want our hips to be right over our knees. And then we're moving up to our shoulders, and we want our shoulders to be over our hips. And then our arms, we want to put our arms alongside our body, and we want to imagine that someone is lifting up under our arms, but we don't want to be lifting our shoulders. We want to just have them just gently lifting up under our arms, right? So we want to keep everything straight, and then we want our head, of course, over our shoulders. So the first thing we're going to do while we're here is we're going to feel into our feet. So we were talking about that spot where our toes meets our feet and our ankles, right? So what the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lift up our toes and we're gonna try to stay completely still. So we're gonna lift our toes, but that spot on our feet is gonna stay on the ground. So we're just lifting our toes and then putting them down. Then we're gonna do that one more time. Ready? We're gonna lift our toes and we're gonna put them down. And sometimes we wanna be wobbly, and that's okay. And right now we're just thinking about lifting our toes and trying to keep our body as steady as possible. But it's not always possible, but that's why we practice. So again, we're gonna lift our toes one more time. Very good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift our heels and we're gonna try to push our ankles straight up to the sky. Now we don't wanna be lifting forward. We don't wanna be falling back. Really, we're gonna wanna lift forward, but we wanna try to just lift straight up like we're going to the sky, okay? So again, we're getting all of our body in a line, and then we're having our arms next to our bodies facing, or with our hands pointing down, and we're just lifting our heels just a little bit straight up and then back down, because we just want to try to be connecting up to the sky, not forward to our friends, but up to the sky. Okay, so let's do that again. Up and down, and one more time. Up and down. Very good. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our hands, we're gonna stay here with our bodies nice and straight. We're gonna take our hands and we're gonna put them out in front of us. And when our hands are out in front of us, we want them to try to be right in line with our shoulders, right? We don't want them to be too close. We don't want them to be too far away. So when we put our arms out, we're gonna bend them and we're gonna see, do our thumbs hit our shoulders? And then we're gonna come straight out. Good job. And now we're gonna lift our arms up. And again, we don't want our shoulders to go up. We just wanna lift our arms up. And sometimes our shoulders do things because they're excited, and that's okay. That's why we practice. So we're having our arms up. Very good. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our hands together, just like this, okay? And we're gonna just kind of lean over to the side. Lean over to the side. Now we don't wanna lean so far that we fall, right? We just wanna listen to what our bodies are saying. And so we're gonna lean just a little bit. And while we're leaning, we're keeping our hips over our knees, over our ankles, right? So we're just leaning just a little bit. And then we're coming back to the center. Good job. And now we're gonna lean the other way. So we're just leaning just a little bit, and then we're coming back. And we're gonna do that again. And we're coming back, and we're going over and back. And one more time, keeping our arms up above our heads, over and back. And this last time, I really want us to think about trying to keep the bottom part of our bodies as still as possible. So we want to imagine that from our hips up, that's the part of our body that's moving, but our hips are staying above our knees, above our ankles. And we're just leaning over as far as we can. If that means we go here, that's fine. If that means we go all the way over here, that's fine. But look, even I can't do that, because when I go over there, boop, there goes my hip. So I have to really think about what my body is doing and how I'm moving. So, whoop, there I go again. So just a little lean and then come back. All right, good job, friends. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our arms